closer to Dredge, so we added some of Dredge's grindy elements to it. Got some amalgams. You get students get a discount on Prime, right? Or they get free Prime for a year or something like that. I thought there was some kind of deal if you're a student in Prime. I don't recall specifically what it is offhand. Anyway, thank you everyone for hanging out today. This list, the Grixis Dragons list, most of the decks we play in stream. Remember, these are viewer submitted deck lists. If you're interested in getting your deck list on stream, be sure to check out bit.ly/Hurkyl submit or bit.ly/Hurkyl sellout for the details and the form on how you can submit your decks to the stream. TLDR is that for subscribers, it's $10 to add a deck list to the donation queue that I play through. For non-subscribers, it's $20 to add a deck. If you're bad at mathematics, that means you should subscribe because it's cheaper, but who am I to tell you how to spend your money? Easy mulligan on the Hearthstone hand here. Well, thanks for all the great content. Always Tang. Thanks for the 4-month free subscription. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for the 30-year support. Well, I mean, as far as good draws go, hopefully we'll be a true professional here and we'll discard these 3. Or we can discard our 2 lands. Yep. This is such a low variance game. Low variance deck too. This deck, for all the fun myself and other people like to poke at it, this deck is much lower variance than a lot of people would like to imply. This deck is fairly consistent at what it's trying to do. Oh, my Torpor Orb should be here. Yeah, probably. It's probably better than Big Game Hunter. If we can turn off their Reflector Mages, we should be in a very good spot. Honestly, and I think the thing that a lot of people understate is Magic has a lot of variance. You have a huge variance every single turn. You take a draw step every single turn. And just because these cards have the word random printed on it, people like to bag on them, basically. They like to rag on it and just be like, well, this card's, it's all luck, there's no skill, etc., etc. When the reality of the situation is just like pretty far from that. I think I'm supposed to cycle this on one, so if we hit Faithless Looting, this hand's absurd. The title's updated, Kent. It doesn't update on your end unless you refresh a lot of the time. Well. Oh, you're meaning the title? The title should say red, black? Fair. Rude. I feel like the Grixis Dragons video is going to be one of the more popular ones on YouTube from today. I'm just going to cast this Flamewake and start attacking. Feeling like we're pretty dead here. Maybe I should have mulliganed. I don't know. We found our lands. That's exactly correct. Lands have been found. Yeah. Yeah, I feel, and that's one of the biggest feel bads. I feel like the only time I beat Hollowed One is when I run exceptionally good, and the only time I lose is when they run bad. So, like, I don't feel like there's a lot of player counterplay to the matches a lot of the time for me on the other side of the table. That being said, just like we hit that Faithless Looting here, so now I get to, like, floop this other bird into play, so might actually be in an okay spot now since we have a blocker and we have a removal spell to follow it up. Stream Decker's still on dragons. Thank you. Updated. Bugler seems real good in out of humans, by the way. Seems very, very powerful. Nope. Aether Vial costs 2. Go ahead and just attack with everything here. If they double block, we'll bolt to blow them out. If they don't double block, I'll just play Flameblade Adept post-combat. Because he's menacing for some reason. It has a blade of fire. How's that not menacing? Fair. Touché. So just dead to this bolt then. Man, Torpor Orb gets even better against this deck without Burglar, huh? Or with Burglar. No blocks kill you. And our start was very dirtily that game. We just like hit it at the right moment. I think I'm happy with how I sideboarded. Just gonna run it back. The old 8-minute match. Hopefully this is a quick league. I don't want to run too close to 6 o'clock, ideally. Grixis we went 4-1 Psycho Smurf. We beat Spirits in the last match. No, Faye just doesn't qualify for Meme Mondays, so Double Bolt seems good here. I might poke back on tonight for Faye, but we'll definitely be starting with Faye in the morning tomorrow. I think I just bolt this on 1. I think on the draw I want to be a little bit more controlling. Our hand could be literally anything. Auriok Champion. Well, that's brutal. Maybe I should have fetched an extra red there. Yeah, Champ's going to be a tough nut to crack here. So we take 4 here down to 12. I have the answer to Mantis Rider, but think I want to shock this in so I leave the maximum number of cards in my discard pile since I drew another Angler here. That bodes potentially well for us. If you pop open the donation queue, Constant Flaw, you can see all the decks that we've played today. There's a big old list of them. Well, that bodes well. That's actually... Things are coming up kind of okay, huh? Just like the Exactsies here, lined up well. Yeah, I just want to play the Gurmag Angler this turn. I think getting the Gurmag Angler into play is more important than getting a second red source. Let's do this and see where we go from here. I discarded 2 hollowed ones. Sounds like my life. Well, if we'd have gotten a hollowed one, we'd have been okay here. I don't know, Bardic. I gotta talk to Christy. She'll probably be doing a bit more once I get my new computer built, because it runs a little bit laggy on her computer when she's streaming, on her laptop that's upstairs. I didn't attack with the gas because it's a free block on the Auriac champion. I don't have another land. Well, I guess you could argue if they block there, then they take 5, so maybe it's worth attacking. Yeah, it's really weird that they named Fatal Push. Oh, I guess we already played 2 bolts, so that makes sense. They are being super defensive here. Meddling Mage is a replacement effect as it enters the battlefield. So to answer your question, no, it is not. Gosh, if we had a hollowed one, they'd be so dead right now. If we hadn't discarded both of those. I don't know about hilariously bad. It would be worse, but I don't know about hilariously bad. Blind 'em with the brand new Twitch Prime support. Thank you very much and welcome. I do appreciate that. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine. We're waiting for the second match in this league to pop. I'd just like to thank everybody else that's hanging out here today. Hope everyone had a great weekend, having a great start to your week. My name's Jeff Hoagland. I stream Magic, primarily Modern here, 30 plus hours a week. If you can't catch me while I'm live during the week, during the daytime US hours, be sure to check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jeff Hoagland. All of my stuff gets archived there, and I break it up by deck, so you can watch just the matches that you care about. You can also support my content by supporting some of my very wonderful sponsors. Cardsphere.com would love to help you turn some of your cards into other cards or cash directly to the players. There's no haggling. They just take a 1% fee off the top. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags with them. CoolStuffInc.com buys and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Attitude Adjuster, thank you very much for the brand new Twitch Prime support. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me here. Thanks for keeping me employed. My monsters are outside and home, apparently. CoolStuffInc.com buys and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. And of course, this stream wouldn't be possible without viewers like Anaronix, Justin Nivik, and all y'all out there. We are 1-0 in this league with Hollowed One splashing in some Prized Amalgams and some stubs out of the board. We went 4-1, of course. I try to be positive, Varenti. I have my moments, but I generally try to stay positive. Let's go ahead and lead on this Burning Inquiry and ditch both of these and get a Hollowed One. Well, I would just like to point out that our Burning Inquiries in this set have been what I would describe as less than stellar. Let's use the description less than stellar. Can this deck ever beat Boogles? No? Alright. Missed a land. Alright, we're gonna... It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It didn't matter that our Burning Inquiry was unlucky, chat. It didn't matter that our Burning Inquiry was unlucky. It was unwinnable anyways. So we're just gonna roll right along here. Roll right along to the next one. We got 3 more matches before we wrap up for the day. So let's move on through. And there's a lot of people out there. I find the people that find they don't enjoy Modern, they just sit there and they get really frustrated with matches like that. I would rather just roll on to the next one and play more Magic. We have 1 Blood Moon. Sometimes you beat Boogles. You can't really race them because they have a bunch of lifelink enchantments. Nothing to see here. Just, you know, moving right along. We got Boogles, Kent. We got Boggled. Not only did we Burning Inquiry and discard 2 lands and then miss on our Faithless Looting, but we're also getting Boggled. Yeah, plus, you know, we haven't done the Conceda match on game 1 yet, so... I've got the bingoers in mind here. This hand's absurd. And by absurd, I mean passable, so we'll keep it. What's going on, Ballistic Quill? Thanks for dropping by. Just bolt the Bogle before they enchant it, right? Oh, hexproof. Please be Affinity. God bless. Not not Lantern. So this is a matchup that's probably significantly worse for this build of this archetype compared to the traditional red-black one, because the red-black one basically has green for Ancient Grudge, which makes matches like Affinity much better. Should this deck add Detection Tower? Nope. Modern is a format where no matter what deck you play, no matter how good or bad it is, you are going to have some number of matchups that are basically unwinnable for you. That's just how it goes. You shouldn't spend time adding a bunch of bad cards to your deck trying to win matchups that aren't worth your time to try and win. It's a bad use of your sideboard slots. It's not a smart way to approach Modern. I think I want to just bolt this. What does this card do? That card's weird. Grixis Dragons went 4-1. I'm going to leave this back to trade with Memnite. I think we're on the defense here for now. Hopefully we discard these 3. I'm really bad at discarding the card I want to discard, chat. There's 6 cards in our bin. I don't know that we're going to be able to race the Steel Overseer on this Cranial Plating, but I guess we're going to give it our college best here. I always put the wrap-up segment on YouTube with everything else, so you'll be able to catch the wrap-up segment on the Grixis Dragons on the YouTube channel. We're pretty dead here, right? We're like at 19 still. I really feel like we don't have... I feel like they're the better linear deck than we are, and we really don't have efficient interaction to interact with them. We've got like a Hurkyl's Recall, and like these Collective Brutalities. Stitcher, Supplier, and Flameblade Adept are two very different things. Flameblade Adept is an aggressive card that allows you to pressure your opponent. Stitcher Supplier is purely an enabler card for graveyard-based card advantage. Part of the reason why this archetype is so good is because it is able to play when it doesn't have access to its graveyard, and replacing things like Adept with low quality cards that move you more all in on the graveyard make you much worse against graveyard-based hate. I've been very bad at casting Burning Inquiry today, chat. It's not been a good scene. Yeah, I think Stitcher's a fine card in like a Dredge Vine list, a deck that's like an archetype that's like more all in on the graveyard anyways. Well, I don't think the prized amalgams are good in these aggressive matchups, right? Like, in my mind, the prized amalgams are there for like control decks and mid-range decks, right? Matches where you want to grind a little bit more and be more of a graveyard mid-range deck. So I agree that this deck is much, much worse against the aggressive decks than regular Hollowed One is. I'm gonna ditch this, cast Hollowed One, and then we can Gurmag Angler next turn. Declan sounds a little upset. I'm gonna close the door so don't have to listen to him complain. It's tough being 3 chat. Ugh. I am a big fan of Nasty Terasti, Snowski. Nasty Terasti is one of my more favorite cards. Well, the Bolt lets me interact with the Syncboth Nexus, which is ideal. I think being able to interact with Syncboth Nexus at instant speed is reasonable. Yeah, this is the last deck of today. We've been going for almost 8 hours. Fatal Push is great too. I think I just ship. I think I'm gonna put the bird back into play here too. Straight red green's usually too slow in Modern. We played that pretty recently and it was just really clunky and awkward. I didn't count. Am I dead on the backswing here? I don't think so. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7, 8, 9, 10. I think they can 10 us here. See, I actually think Affinity is pretty incredibly interesting to play against. I think Affinity is a great linear deck to have in the format because it's a deck that cares about traditional interaction. It's not like Griselbrand where your fatal pushes are dead and your lightning bolts don't do anything. I think the fact that Affinity lets your interactive cards actually matter is a big deal. No, I don't think I want to bolt the Battlecry, dude. I think I'm just fine taking this hit. I want to send the bolt upstairs, ideally. There's nothing wrong with a deck like Affinity making you either have to be faster or be interactive. Like, as someone who looks at a lot of decks that people submit in Modern and refuses to play a good number of them, a lot of the decks I refuse to play are people submitting these derpy mid-range decks that just don't do anything for a significant portion of the game and also aren't interactive. It sounds a lot like Kiki Chord. Kiki Chord at least has fast Chord of Callings for Hate Bears, but even that's not good enough a lot of the time. That's why I stopped playing that deck. It's a reason why I haven't touched that archetype in a very long time. Alrighty. I mean, this is like the dream if we're a little bit lucky, right? If we're a little bit lucky, this hand is everything we want to be doing in life. Yeah, Affinity is a deck where your ability to play against Affinity is greatly improved if you understand what's going on. Alright, well, we're shocking that one in so we don't lose our blue source on this since we drew Hurkyl's Recall. I'm sure we're going to discard Hurkyl's Recall to this. Look at that. Look at that, chat. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. We did it, chat. We kept our 4/4. We discarded their Rest in Peace. We discarded their Rip, and we kept our 4/4. It's like Christmas, chat. It's like Christmas. Is Moto bugged? I didn't get my thing back. Yeah, return all artifacts. Target player controls. Hurkyl's Recall is great. Perfectly fine. I know what Hurkyl's Recall does. I'm just gonna pass to them, and I'm gonna end step recall them. This is an instant. I'm not expecting Spell Pierce out of their deck. Pick your stuff up. Send it back from whence it came. So, I think I want a BI to start here. I'm going to shock this in. And I'm going to BI. And then hopefully keep this Angler. Perfect. Look at that, chat. Just like we drew it up. Everything's coming up, Millhouse. Oh yeah, get him. Get him. Arr, arr, these are my big scaries. These are my big scaries. I didn't do it at the end of their second main because Glimmer Void triggers every end of turn, chat. So it didn't matter because they were going to lose it on my end step. It actually was irrelevant, and doing it during their second main meant I had to add another stop. It was tapped, it didn't matter. I'm on the play, I think. I am on the play. I'm going to bottom this, hopefully draw a discard enabler. Yeah, the Nether card is weird and feels bad. I'm not quite sure what that card is doing in my deck. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime gal. If you abuse me, honey, you'll lose me. Gotta hide hollowed one in the corner here. Nobody puts baby in a corner. I mean, nobody. Look at that, a convenient 5 cards in the discard pile. What if we added a 6th? This is your captain speaking. This is just a friendly reminder that Stoneforge Mystic is too good for Modern. Over. And this is another good example of, like, is this blue splash actually worthwhile? Like, we actually use our graveyard as a resource pretty heavily, so, like, we just delved an amalgam there. So, like, this amalgam that's supposed to be a resource just got, like, flushed away with the rest of the garbage by the big fish. Big old garbage fish. Attack you for 9. Do. Oh no, chat. What if they blood moon us this turn? How will we ever win the game then? How will we ever win the game if they blood moon us, chat? What will come of us? What will become of us? Oh, did somebody order a lethal Bloodghast? You ordered a lethal Bloodghast, didn't you, opponent? You've remanded my lethal Bloodghast. Yeah, we played the Soul Flayer version a couple times on stream. I like that build a lot. I like the Soul Flayer build. What an interesting and interactive game of Magic the Gathering my opponent and I have just played. Milito, thank you very much for the brand new Twitch Prime subscription. I know there's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month. Welcome, welcome. Stubbs and Thoughtseize is in. Let's do it. Check it, see. Rick it, see. Sometimes people pay you to win games. Occasionally. Hey, we 4-1'd with Grixis Dragons, thank you very much. That was paying me to win games. I like that deck a lot. Sand's pretty bad. I think you're supposed to mulligan 7s that don't have an enabler pretty aggressively, which probably means the fact that this deck cut a Burning Inquiry is probably bad. Rude. Well, this worked out well for us. They got greedy with the relic activation, so we got our Bloodghast back anyways. Don't get greedy, chat. Just cycle it and get rid of the Bloodghast. I really feel like the prized amalgams in this deck are kind of a textbook example of making changes to solve a problem that this deck doesn't have. Which is, this deck already feels pretty good against like control and mid-range decks because of its recursive threats. So adding more recursive threats to the deck feels weird. Could I have cast the Angler before playing the land? Well, I wanted to get the Bloodghast back. I didn't want to delve my Bloodghast. Bloodghast is a very good threat against these blue-red decks. It comes back again and again and again. Deal. Yeah. Flamewake Phoenix, and like people get so caught up on the busted hollowed one draws that this deck can have that I think that they forget sometimes the grindy draws that it's capable of. I'm gonna do this just to get more things in my bin. Yep. So this is gonna put them to 13. I guess if I would have played this mountain. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this other Bloodghast out here too. And that's really, Ocean, why this deck is so good. Like, it's... We can through the breached. Good beat. It's a deck that's capable of nut draws, but also capable of just like grinding people out. Well, so here's the thing about this deck being Grixis. Well, we have a couple of stubborn denials that I'm boarding in here. This deck is basically red-black in the main deck, right? Like, Prized Amalgam, you're not really casting. You're discarding this card and then flooping it back into play with Bloodghast and Flamewake. So, by adding cards like Is It Charm, you actually add a new requirement to the mana base that can be awkward some of the time. This hand has potential to be very good. Right, let's hide our boy in the corner over here. Tilt. They discarded 2 lands. Rats, they have a 3rd land. They're so lucky. What a lucker. Yep, discarded Nether Traitor. God bless that graveyard value. You have a bolt for my Flameblade Adept here? Nether Traitor, you were too... It was too pure. It just couldn't see the light of day. That's pretty good. We'll We'll go Shock Thoughtseize this turn. I assume this is dying. They threw the Breach to Emrakul. Remand, Abrade, Anger. Well, their hand currently doesn't do anything. They actually can't cast the Anger. I didn't want to seize first Lukatog because I wanted to be able to discard the Bloodghast to the Goblin Lore like we did. That's why I didn't seize first. And they just bolt in response, yep. You got him. He's dead, Jim. Well, if we get to Goblin Lore into a land next turn, I guess I could just Faithless Looting too. Faithless Looting guarantees puts Bloodghast and Flamewake Phoenix into my bin. Yeah, perfect. Let's just do that. These have haste. Yep, they're dead. Sweet. Whale. So, we're winning games because we're red-black hollowed one. It's basically what's happening. Even that matchup there where it was kind of grindy, where the Prized Amalgam stayed in, they didn't do anything. Yeah, I think at this point, I feel pretty firmly convinced that we've just not attempted to solve an issue and just like kind of made changes to make changes. Which generally speaking is not a good way to approach deck building. You want to have a meaningful reason for making changes that you make to an archetype. I think if you want to kind of play weird Hollowed One or different Hollowed One, I would definitely recommend checking out the Soul Flayer variations of Hollowed One that we've played on stream in the past. So now that I drew this other Flameblade, I think I'm gonna go Faithless Looting first here. That's pretty good. And now I guess I just dump Hollowed One into play, right? I was gonna say then I'll play the other Flameblade and then have Goblin Lore for next turn, but this seems pretty good for us. Let's get our giant one into play. Dredge. Okay. This matchup is very bad for our deck. Do we have any graveyard hate in our sideboard? Actual none. In my experience playing this matchup on the Dredge side, this matchup is very, very good for Dredge. Well, if we were going to have a hand that could beat Dredge, it was probably going to look like this one. So let's start by attacking here. And then we get to dump 2 more fatties into play. And then next turn we can bring the bird back. So if they want to double block here, take 4 down to 13, I assume they do. And that's why this deck is so good. Because even when a matchup's hard, sometimes you just run like this and you get to run people over. Oh, geez, we have an Amalgam in our bin, too. So, I don't even know if the Amalgam's going to come to matter here, right? It's going to be really slow, so we'll leave Flamewake and Amalgam in the bin here. And, like, next turn we're attacking for 15. They have 1 blocker, so they really need to dredge into some more Narcomoebas here. Nice quick 50 to an hour league. All right, there's some more Narcomy buzz. In my experience playing Dredge, probably half a dozen times or so against Grixis Hollowed One, I felt very favored on the Dredge side every time I've played it. I think our Hollowed One draw currently is pretty above average though. So I think we're in an okay spot at the moment. Shocking to 11 is aggressive. Yeah, that's a lot of blockers. They're getting 2 amalgams back here. All right, I guess I'll do this, and then next turn I can Faithless Looting to make my little jackal warrior bigger. Grixis Dragons ended up 4-1. The deck was really sweet. We're at 18 here too, so I just get to push really aggressively here. So they're gonna have 9, 10, 11, 12 power in play. And I can jump for 3. And then they can deal like 8 out of their hand or 6 out of their hand. So I think because I can jump block, we should be okay. It's a non-zero chance they jump up and kill us with Conflag this turn, but they actually haven't even milled one of those yet. Yeah. Oh, and Golgari Thug actually gets to put Narcomoeba back on top of their deck here, which is pretty big. Is that a main deck? No, I know that's a Life from the Loam, Kent. So they get to re-dredge Narcomoeba here. I don't think we were dead to Conflagrate there. Like, if we lose this game, I'm probably not playing the next one. Like, this is one of our most absurd openers. 4% of messages should be deleted, have the user timed out just to simulate games you lose in Magic before turn 1. If they dredge loam, they loam up to 9 cards in hand, and then they have to play a land. And then this gets to block 2 of it. So they would have had 6, 9, 11, 17. They would have had 17, I believe. No, they only loam up to 8 cards in hand and then play 1 and get to deal 7. Yeah. Thanks for being here, Eneronix. I'm going to try and remember to swap your crown out later tonight. I mean, it's Arena R&D, right? It's a little bit different than Magic R&D. Oh no, it's actual R&D playing Magic. Alright, sure. It's probably been live longer than them too. Twitch is very much a thing about who's been live longer. This Faithless Looting makes this Flameblade Adept scary. So they can Conflag for 7. They could, like, kill these 3 here on a Conflag for 7. They could kill Angler Adept on a Conflag for 7. Oh, I'm sorry. Host them, you might get a spoiler. This can't attack, so I just smack them. And timeouts get them. Don't spam Magic's chat. It's okay, really. So they're out of cards here, and like this other 4/4 is actually going to be very good here. Anoronic Slave. No, I can loot hoping for Bolt next turn still. I think I'm supposed to be just play the Hollowed One here. Like, I don't need to play around anything like Gnaw to the Bone game 1. So it says haste. They go block here, trade here, take 2, go to 1. Weird that they left Hull. That's a weird set of blocks. So I get to bring my bird back now. Yeah, they're dead on board. Goblin Lore into the bolt. Just true skill game. All right, that being said, I take it back. We have one surgical extraction. There's one surgical extraction of the sideboard. Sure. All right, I guess. Just like we drew it up. I take it all back. We got this on lock. Am I supposed to bring in Stubbs? I guess that's good against Conflag. That seems super loose. I'm gonna keep this. Yeah, one random surgical extraction's a little loose. It's exactly that, random. Big Tefts was pretty bad, Anoronics. I don't think I'm gonna play that one again. As kind of worn, the wonders kind of wore off, and what's been left underneath is not particularly appealing. Yeah, remember, chat, we have amalgams too, so I really don't wanna orb and stop our amalgams as well. The Grixis Dragon deck was really sweet, though. If you're looking for a good one, you didn't catch all of that. That one was great all around. Just like good sets of games. Alright, so we've got a Bloodghast and a Prized Amalgam in our bin. Our opponent didn't hit another Dredger, so that's good for us. Next turn, we get to go bring Bloodghast back, bring Amalgam back, cast Flamewake. If they have nothing here, we could steal this one too, which would be great for us. Oh, they have a Loam to cast. That makes sense. The Cathartic Reunion, sure. Okay, and this they hit 2 Narcos and 2 Amalgams, so... Why not play this deck at the open? Because if my goal was to simply make the most money playing Magic, I wouldn't drive to Indy for the weekend. I would stay here and stream for all of you. My goal for going to Indianapolis is to play a game that I like with Magic cards that I enjoy casting. And the blue-red deck has far more cards that I enjoy casting in it than this one. So Tron. Oh, Tron. Oh, Tron. I'm playing the blue-red Delver Fairies deck that we've streamed a little bit with, off and on stream. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and concede here and move on to the next one. Pretty far behind at this point. I think it's good against Tron. I think it's got close games against Just Killing Humans. I think it's a little bit of a dog against Solid One. I think it's good against big mana and spell-based combo decks. And it's got a lot of play to it against the interactive decks. You're probably a little bit of a dog to them or close to 50-50. Can I keep this? Too slow. I'm gonna keep it. Plays the city on turn 2. It feels like it's too slow in this matchup, but I think it's probably better than our average 6. And like, don't get me wrong, like I have fun playing lots of different decks on stream, but like I have to really enjoy a deck to like drive 3 hours, spend an entire weekend, play it all day, 2 days in a row, like That's a pretty big investment. Huh. I think I'm actually going to be conservative in Faithless Looting here. Wow, that's poop. Well, at least we 3-1'd. If we were professional there, we would have hit like a Street Wraith. Like Street Wraith plus more Hollowed Ones. Well, I mean, even if you don't make day 2 of the open, the reason why STG opens are great is because they always have a classic to play on day 2. So, like, you guaranteed get to play 2 days worth of Magic when you go to an open. You have a Nature's Claim here. Lightning Axe, yep. Classics like 35 or 40 bucks, something like that. I don't know. It's a negligible amount compared to the total cost of the weekend costs, you know? Like traveling to play in an open for a weekend costs you usually like upwards of $300 or $400. Yeah, we can slog around here for a little bit, but we're gonna get burned. We're gonna get slogged out. I didn't like this build of Hollowed One. I felt like the addition of Prized Amalgams felt like it was doing something cute just to do it. It cut key cards out of this archetype that worked to make it more consistent, like the 4th Burning Inquiry, the 4th Delve Threat. I think if you're interested in playing Hollowed One, but doing something interesting with the deck, I think I would look into the Soul Flayer variation, the Grixis Hollow Flayer deck we played on stream a couple more times. The Hollow Flayer deck does something that's unique from traditional Hollowed One, but it feels like it adds this angle of attack that's actually really powerful and genuinely different. That's going to be it for me for today. I'll be back at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. We're going to kick off with some Blue-Red Delver Fairies. People have asked me what deck I'm going to play at the Open this weekend. I'm playing Blue-Red Delver Fairies at the Open this weekend, so we're going to start with that. That'll be the first deck that we play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for the rest of the week, so I can get some reps in. I'll catch all y'all around later. If you're looking for more content for myself, I streamed for 8.5 hours today. This was our 6th league that we played. We played 2 Vintage Leagues and 4 Modern Leagues. Those will all be published on my YouTube channel momentarily. Thanks always. I do appreciate it, folks. Everybody, have a good one. Have a good start to your week. And condolences on your loss again, Onyx.